Good morning. We're back in Barcelona and we are continuing my birthday celebrations. And today we're going to Penedes to do a wine tasting because that's my birthday gift from my sister. And my sister is actually here. You'll meet her. And yeah, I'm really excited. It's an Airbnb experience, so I can link it down below if I like it. I guess I'll let you know at the end of the video. But they're picking us up in Barcelona and we're taking a bus to a castle where we're going to do wine tasting and some tapas. Sounds perfect. I was a bit confused with what to wear, not going to lie. I'm still not 100% sure. So I'm just wearing white pants, this yellow top, and like an overshirt. I think this is cute. And I am wearing my new Birkenstocks because comfort first. And I will be taking my leather bag. I think the bag makes it like a statement. She's going to a vineyard to chill, have a drink in the sun. Ooh, I need sunglasses. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is cute. Because I'll definitely want some pictures at the vineyard. So I hope this is gonna give. Okay, quick breakfast and we're off. So we did a taste and smell test on some herbs that grow around the vineyard, and apparently that affects the grape and how flavorful it is. But we arrived, we just had a bit of olive oil, some honey and a bit of bread, and now we're walking down. This is this beautiful castle that has been in our guide's family for 800 years, so it's kind of epic. And oh, he's speaking, and we're gonna see the vines now. I just made a mistake bringing my Birkenstocks, but we're not in Australia, so I don't think I'll die if something bites me. Reporting live from Barcelona. So on the way back from the wine tasting, we lost signal. Well, we didn't have signal from the beginning because it was just in the middle of nowhere. And then as we were getting closer to civilization, we realized that we still don't have signal. And then we stopped to fuel the tank. And the petrol station guy was like, "There's no electricity anywhere in like Spain and Portugal." So we're like, ooh, okay. So we turned the radio on. And indeed, there's no electricity. So there's no signal. So we were just dropped off, and now we're walking to find Dylan. And funnily enough, Dylan was alone and he ran to Lou and Paula. So this is our emergency group, apparently. Yeah, but everything is normal. People are still drinking caña, and everyone's just living. I think they're just happy that they finished work earlier. I think the only people that have it bad is like the remote workers, because how are you gonna tell your London employer that there's no electricity? Anyways.
And the poor tram drivers.
The tram drivers were just sitting on the tram, like
The tram not able to abandon it.
yeah. Everyone else is drinking cava and caña, so all is good. I'll update you when we get to Luz. The concern is that the elevators don't work and I will have to walk up. So we're going to Bhan, which I've had on my list to go and for a very long time. And finally, now that my sister's here, we can go. Because she always says yes to new food, especially if it's Asian food. We already had matcha, and yeah, And I tell you later all about the no electricity yesterday. Hello guys, we're back in the kitchen. I feel like we haven't been in the kitchen for so long. And the first couple of vlogs, I feel like I was only in the kitchen, but since I started traveling, it was a bit hectic. So quickly, I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna make and then I'll debrief you on the power outage because that was hectic, okay? What we're gonna make today, we were feeling soup. It's very nice and warm, but I love soups in spring. Although this soup is not gonna be, my phone here. I was just talking to my mom and I like to use these bottles as like my stand. Anyways, I am making a Thai soup, I guess, but with wonton dumplings. So let me show you. I got this wonton pastry. They're like very thin sheets of pastry. I'm gonna mix some mincemeat. I'll show you, but I'm just gonna make little dumplings. And the broth is gonna be, Amit here has this amazing Thai broth, which is basically bone broth, with some spices already. But I do have my red curry paste. I do have some lemongrass and ginger, garlic, the usual like fragrant stuff. And also I got these chips from the Asian store, corn snacks. I'll try them later. Right, so I'll start by frying a bit the aromatics. So the paste with some shallots, a bit of garlic and a ginger. Actually, I'm not sure if you're supposed to fry the grass or is it just, like, do you fry it or is it just for after? I know you're supposed to crush it. So I think I'll cut it in half and then with the back of my knife, I'm gonna crush it. I think that's when it releases the fragrance, which would make sense. Ooh, it smells delicious, oh my God. And a couple of cloves of garlic, I can't speak. Right, so what happened yesterday was interesting. I will be posting this video much after this whole thing happened, so I don't think it's gonna be a trending thing anymore. So basically, I was wine tasting with my sister, minding our own business. And we assumed there is no signal, which actually, well, we arrived there around 11 and the power outage started at 12:30. And I think there was just really weak signal there anyways. It was like in the middle of nowhere, very small village. It's gotten a bit weird, but at the end of the tasting, I wanted to pay and he only accepted Bizum or PayPal and I couldn't connect to the internet. And he was like, oh no, you should be able to, like, if you get to the window. And I was like, I couldn't, but to be fair, my phone sometimes, because I still have my Polish phone number, like my phone sometimes does weird things, so whatever. All right, I just added the paste quickly. So it starts frying with the oil. So we were blissfully unaware. And around 3 p.m. we started departing. So it's like three hours into the power outage. Our driver, the owner of the vineyard, is like, oh wait, we need to like fuel up. So we stop at the petrol station and the guy at the petrol station's like, no power, no power. I mean, in Spanish. And he's like, oh, like here? So like we go to the next one. And they're like, no power in like Spain and Portugal and Europe. And we're like, what? That's so weird. And that's when we turned on the radio. That's when we found out more about the whole situation. And it was, I don't know if it was scary. I think because we were out and about, we didn't really feel like anything bad is gonna happen. And bear in mind, we're like a couple of glasses of wine in, so there was nothing that was potentially gonna stress us out. I just realized that I couldn't contact my boyfriend. Then I noticed that I got a couple of missed calls from my mom, but like a SMS that I got that you missed a call from your mom. So I tried calling her and I actually reached her because obviously normal cell service it wasn't like great, but it was working. So I called my mom. She was terrified. She was like, oh my God, you need to like go to Switzerland right now. And I'm like, what? It's like, what's happening? And so she told me that it's going to take a couple of more hours than we thought And then I was like, okay, let me call Dylan. And I also managed to reach Dylan, and he said that he's on his way to Luz. Or actually, he was already with her. Oh, there he is. He's home. Okay, sorry guys. Dylan distracted me, and in the meantime, I always forget when I speak to people that I shouldn't be continuing cooking because I need to show you what I'm doing. I added the broth, and I added the lemongrass, and I added the coconut milk. So not much happened. I always use this coconut milk if you're in Spain and you're wondering. This, by the way, I will always wash and keep it because you never know when you need it. And I actually once needed it. Okay, moving on. Wait, should we first do the mincemeat and then we continue the story? Maybe. So these balls are so useful in a kitchen. I feel like you never know until you get one. I couldn't find spring onion, so it's gonna be what I call it, chives. I guess it's the same flavor, no? Just onion. All right, so back to the story. Maybe I'll take you closer so you can see what I'm doing, or maybe actually further so you can see what I'm doing. Can you see me? Can you see what I'm doing? Also, I cannot control the mess that's happening here, so just ignore the mess. Yeah, so I called Dylan. He's already at Luz and Polo's, and they're together, and the connection was really bad, so he just tells me, come here, I have everything. I'm like, my God, that's a bit dramatic. I'm like, what did you bring? Like, I don't know, I was very confused. And all I tell him in a moment is like, okay, we'll take a while because we're still stuck in traffic because the traffic became crazy. And then I guess we need to walk because buses weren't running. They were, but they were extremely full. And taxis, I don't know, we didn't have cash. I will grate some ginger and garlic into my mincemeat. So we get to Barcelona and we walk to Luz, and on the way there I realized that if there's no electricity, then obviously they're not going to hear the doorbell. So I'm like, how is that going to work? We get there and somehow we managed to, they were coming back into the house and we were walking in as well, so they saw us. We walked in, they actually went for a beer. We just hanged out for a bit. Lou and Polo had a radio so we could listen to the president speaking, and that's when we realized that nothing is really, like nothing bad is really happening. It's just gonna take a while. I think at this point they were saying it's gonna take a minimum of 8 hours to 10, and that was like already 4 p.m. So we made a plan that we're gonna head home and then we're gonna meet at a designated place to go and figure out some dinner, because we just came back from Menorca, so both of our households had zero food in the house. So we obviously could have eaten some chickpeas and salad, but we were like, let's see, maybe a restaurant will have power. So we met at this designated point. At this point, there was some cellular connection, so we had some like 3G to connect with people, but it was still very, very minimal. And then we realized that the only restaurant that is available is a kebab place. Because when they started bringing back power, it happened in, like they started with the biggest crossings. So like a big roundabout would have power just for the lights. And then because of that, the restaurants around the roundabout would have it. So we figured out that we went to a bigger street, found a kebab place, had a kebab, lovely, went home, and then around 11, the power came back. And now I guess the question is what really happened, and I don't know, it's hard for me to believe the current government story that it was like a weather thing, because right now in Spain, there's no extreme weathers, like it's very mild, you know, like compared to what usually happens to Spanish weather. And that's when I'll be like, okay, yeah, fair enough. It makes sense that something's wrong. So that theory feels a bit weird. What's funny is that when it happened and when I got internet again, I went quickly on ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT's professional opinion on what do you think actually happened? Like, was it a cyber attack? Was it, you know, the weather thing? It's like, what do you think? So it gave me first all the possible options of what could it be. But I'm just putting the meat into the chives, garlic, and ginger. Okay, to the mincemeat quickly. This is so chaotic. I hope I remember like where I leave the story of. So to the mincemeat, I'm gonna add some sesame oil because I think it's just delicious and it complements. And some soy sauce. So a good pinch of soy sauce. The problem with raw meat, if it's not beef, this is beef and pork. I wanted chicken, but they didn't have. The problem with this is you cannot really taste it, so I'm just gonna eye it. I guess another problem is that I don't know how much salt to put because if I'm already putting soy sauce, it's all very, very difficult, you guys. And I'm also gonna crack 2 eggs, I think, just so it holds. 1. And unfortunately, the only way to do it is with your hand. I think I've seen people do it with chopsticks, but that's some advanced magic for me. So yes, so right after it happened, I got my internet back and I immediately went to ChatGPT and I was like, yo, what do you think really happened? It gave me a list of things that possibly could have happened, which included the weather thing and many other things. And then it said, I'm gonna find a screenshot, although ChatGPT might delete it. And it said, but in my professional opinion, it was a cyber attack. Fast forward to today, 2 days later, I asked ChatGPT again, what do you think it was? And it says it's the weather. And I'm like, you don't have any more information about the weather suddenly, you know? Like, the only thing is that maybe someone regulated you to not talk about the cyber attack. I'm honestly the last one to start with conspiracy theories. So it's not because I like or enjoy it. I just genuinely feel like it's just kind of weird. Also to the soup, I'm gonna add a bit of mushrooms and I think just a tiny bit of broccoli. But this is honestly like the last thing you do, the mushrooms, because they cook really quickly. And I also like the broccoli to be a bit on a crispier side. So back to the non-really conspiracy theories. It just feels weird. But then again, if it is something more serious, like a cyber attack and, you know, God knows from which country or what kind of, you know, which side of the world, do I want to know? What is that going to change? Not much, I tell you that. All right, I'll start with my dumplings. Since I'm Polish, I feel like I'm proficient in this and I should be okay, but we will find out now. I'll get some water to bind the dough, I think. At least that's what I saw on TikTok. It is quite crazy to me that they don't stick together. Be focused, Kasia, and then you can continue chit-chatting. So put a bit of meat or like a spoon. Then I will put water on the edges to maybe act like glue. And then I will fold it like so. Tick, 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 tick. And I'm assuming this is the moment when you would want to make sure it's connected. And then you're supposed to like scramble it like this, I guess. Oh, but the meat's coming out. Is it supposed to come out? Maybe I put too much meat. Got it, I just found an easier way of doing it. I think the one that I was looking at was kind of imaginary, I don't know. Maybe a bit less meat though. So if you're Polish, what I need to do with this is make uszka. Kind of like tortellinis, I think they're called in Italian. Okay, the good thing I found out is you need to fold it and squeeze the air and make sure they're like a ravioli now, I guess. Oh my God, I can hear the Italians running to the comment section like, oh my God, this is not a ravioli. This is blah, 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 blah. Who cares, Linda? Who cares? And then put a bit of water here, put a bit of water here, and like fold it. Fine. But all in all, it was, I don't know if it was a scary experience or not really. I think if it lasted any longer than it did, it would have become very uncomfortable. I think we were all at a point where it was, you know, kind of funny and cute. We didn't have internet. We were hanging out, playing cards, reading books. it didn't feel that serious. So maybe that's a good thing. What I will say though, it was quite funny to see how Spanish people reacted and how I think different countries would react. I think in London it would be absolute chaos. I guess also for a reason that it is a bigger city. So if you're stuck on one side of London, in Barcelona, I was like, you just walk an hour maximum, maybe a bit longer, but you will be fine. And in London, if you're stuck in like, I don't know, even Islington to Putney, that's what, like 3 hours walk? I don't know, maybe less, but it's a bit more problematic, I guess, to be stuck in London. The moment people realized that the electricity is not coming back and so work is not really coming back today, everyone was having beer. And it was great. People were just hanging out outside. It was nice weather. People were drinking beer. So overall, not a bad experience. Although if I was a person stuck in an elevator, I would not be fine. Like, that would be the end of me. Like, I don't know. It is my literal nightmare to be stuck in an elevator and to think that people were stuck for hours. Obviously, I would hope that these people were a priority to save, but still terrifies me, the idea. So that would be probably the worst place. I think the best place to be was a wine tasting. I am glad though that we had a driver and not a train, because then I would have to be in Penedes until, no, I think maybe Polo would come and pick us up. Yeah, I guess so. But then how do you send the location? Oh my God, that would have crazy, because Dylan had no idea what vineyard we're at. Anyways, we all made it. We're fine. Okay, so I think we're done here with cooking, mostly. I'm gonna finish making these dumplings. And then I'll catch you there. I'll just throw them in a soup, I think with the mushrooms. And that'll be it. So I just threw all the dumplings in the boiling soup. And they're gonna boil for like 6 minutes, because there's obviously raw meat in there. And now I'm gonna add like a spoon of the fish sauce and a squeeze of lime. And Dylan's preparing coriander.
Tequila.
And that's it.